My name is Tequila Fletcher, owner and operator of TressaHolic Beauty Supply and Salon.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, she's working, y'all, so we got to make this as quick as possible. You see her in the store, Tequila Fletcher, and she's going to let us know. She's gone, viral with her interview that she did with Black Star a few months ago, and then African Diaspora News channel. You guys know, charity always starts at home with my client, that he aired a clip of her stuff, and I was just so excited to have this conversation. But Tequila wants to start it off with making sure she sets the record straight on something that a lot of you have gotten wrong trying to sell her. So Tequila, please let the people know and set the record straight on what your problem is and not what people might have thought they heard.
Okay, so at the time of the initial interview, I actually told the reporter that I didn't per se have issues with getting virgin hair extensions from China or India. I actually have been doing business with China for over 10 years, plus years, selling virgin hair over 14 years. So that has never been my issue as far as doing business with China, because not only do I have a beauty supply store, I sell on eBay and Amazon as well. So not only hair, I was getting other products from them. So that's never been an issue. My issue with me starting up the beauty supply store was getting direct accounts with manufacturers. So the majority of them being, the Asian, Korean companies based in the US. So you have like your companies like, Jana Collection and Ultra Shake and Go. Those were the companies that had given me such the hardest time as far as trying to set up a direct account with them. So that's like your pack hair, your braiding hair, crochet hair, those companies.
I'm sorry. So yeah, so I just want to clarify some things. The reporter kind of got the article just a little bit wrong. I didn't say that I had problems with getting virgin extensions. As a matter of fact, I've been doing business with China for over 10 years, and I've been selling virgin hair extensions for about 14 years. So my relationship with manufacturers in China have been awesome. I've never had those issues with China or India. But my issue was prior to me setting up the store, with me trying to get accounts with the Asian Korean companies in the U.S., like your pack hair, like your Yaki Remy's and your braiding hair, crochet hair. Those companies like Janet Collection, Ultra, Shake and Go, those were the people that I was having my most difficulties with as far as trying to set up those accounts. So those were my issues, not with China directly.
Okay, and so with those companies, are they based in China or are they based in India?
They actually are based in the U.S.
Okay, so it's good old white extremists are, white racism, because you are a non-Asian trying to buy something that they probably have a monopoly on, at least, in their region. Would that be correct?
I would say yes and no. And why I say yes and no, because what I know now versus what I know then can it kind of open my eyes a little bit. I did was on kind of like a podcast with the president of Sensational Hair, and he actually admitted that a lot of their older accounts per se, like the ones who actually kind of been in the beauty supply industry like forever, like they have shown favoritism towards them, and per se locking other people out, whether it's Black or whomever. It's just been that type of way or what have you. But in my opinion, I would say yes, because I can remember a time that I did everything I was supposed to do with Janet Collection. I sent them my application, even did some follow-up phone calls. And it was funny because they let me open the account, but when it came down to the ordering process, they gave me the runaround. They was like, send us what you want. And I'm just like, well, why can't I just have like an Excel spreadsheet or catalog, something? They would never give me a catalog. They would never send me like a full Excel sheet of the full inventory that they had. They would tell me, oh, go to our website and pick what you want and then email us. So I said, okay, if that's the process, then I'll do it. Did everything that they asked me to do, crickets. Then I tried calling and calling and calling. And when I finally got someone on the phone, it was like, oh, well, we're in a meeting. We can't, call us back. So I did that for a couple months straight. And I was just at a point, I was like, forget it. Like, it's just, the ones who will give you the accounts, like I said, they make it difficult to order, or you send them all of your credentials, what they're asking you to give them, then it's, oh no, your application was incomplete. And I'm just like, I did everything you guys told me to do. So it's just like, it's just been rough. rough. And then what they'll do is, if they won't give you the direct accounts, they will try to direct you to their distributors. But the problem with that is there's no way that you can actually even compete with some of these other Korean-owned beauty supply stores because of price points. So it's just been a roller coaster.
And to give, context, they are in the business of making money, but it's known and it's not a secret that non-Asian folks have had a difficult time. And I talk about black folks as every black person I know who's tried to open up a hair shop or has done it has said the same thing. Are there any competitors? Are the competitors, are they the same? And how do we fix this problem? Do we just ban, getting, women's hair done like this? I can't say that as a man, but should women then say, you know what, we're not going to, have our hair, braided or crocheted or something like that?
I mean, to be honest with you, then yeah, it's just one of those things that, the saying, if you want to hurt them in their pockets. And the reality of it is, though, they're not going to stop getting their hair done. It's just a given. They're just not going to stop. And the only way to fix the problem is for these companies to realize that the power is in the black dollar. Because, they set up shop in our neighborhoods, which I'm not upset about that because, I actually help people set up businesses as well. And no one opens up a business to fail. And anytime that you're looking to open up any type of business, the number one thing that you always have to ask yourself is, who is your target market? So if they know that blacks is their target market, they wouldn't put their business in a predominantly white neighborhood. That wouldn't make sense. So, just to clear that up, I'm never upset about anybody for doing what they do right. But I think that once even black people realize the power of what we can do, and then as far as helping us smaller black-owned, beauty supply owners, if these people come and shop with us, it can make it a lot easier for us to be able to, get the capital and things that's needed to actually to open up these accounts with these people. So like I say, versus when I first did the interview versus what I know now, it's a lot different. And I can honestly say, because of the Black Lives Matter movement and everybody my videos circulating and things like that, has started showing a little improvement and change in some of these companies. I've actually had them start showing it up to my business. One of the same companies that I put an application in, I wasn't denied. It's just I never heard anything back from them. But I'm pretty sure that they caught wind of who I was and they showed up. So I think the more that we continuously let them know, listen, we will pull our dollars. If you don't cooperate, then I think change will be made. Change is being done as far as I can see.
Now we've seen with, more and more women going natural now, and I don't know if you can run, your supply store off people if they say, hey, I'm just going to go natural. Is there enough, money in the natural? So we don't want to kill a business. So educate us if everybody was to say, you know what, we're going natural and we're just going to use these, the natural products because at least they will sell to our people. I mean, is that movement, do you push that movement more and more? Because you like to get your hair done too sometimes. So I'm just trying to find a solution that people can say, you know what, I'm going natural because of this. I'm going to buy these products because maybe they're Black owned, or that they even hire Black people or sell to Black people.
I mean, yeah, if it was a method of trying to, hurt them in their pocket, yes. If everybody stopped doing sew-ins, bond-ins, pick weaves, braids, and et cetera, yeah, that will actually cut that off completely. Because China is the only manufacturing country with as far as processing hair extension. I mean, not China, but India does a lot of like the virgin bundles, so forth and so on. They've kind of gotten the board as far as learning how to track extensions, closure wigs, etc. But as far as like your major manufacturer, it's only been China. And I agree with what the guy was saying about why not try to open up some sort of a manufacturing in Africa? That'll solve the problem as well. So that way we are doing, business directly with, African American or African, or Black manufacturing. So, I mean, yeah, if everybody stopped that, yeah, that'll solve the problem. Or if, we get into trying to manufacture the hair on our own as well. I mean, as a matter of fact, I'm in the process of testing hair from China as well, so I could develop my own, line, because of me having my issues with getting these accounts. I was like, well, okay, if I can't beat them, I join them. So let me do what I need to do, so that way I won't have that issue.
And educate us with this hair that, it's difficult to get. We often would hear the jokes, hey, where'd you get that hair, from a horse's, behind or whatnot. Why is it only India and China are doing this? Is it because, folks also say the Indian women will shave off their hair to sell it? Is that the reason, because of the type of hair they have, that Black people here in America are in Africa? I'm Mr. Africa and invest there consistently, but why is India and China the only places that have done this?
You know what, I personally think because it's foreign. Okay, so in India it's a religious thing. So once these temple owners or what have you realize that, we can make money to basically keep what we got going as far as like keeping the upkeep of the temple and so forth. So once they realized that it was a market for that, they started to sell the hair. Now with China, I think because it's a population thing, that, they have several people that they can get, hair from. It's cheap. And I think that's personally why that, those two countries have the ability to do it. And let me also clarify some things. When you hear the term Brazilian hair, there is no Brazilian hair. I'm sick of hearing it. Hair only comes from China, and it only comes from India. So when you keep hearing these terms, people, stop it. Don't believe the hype. I went to Brazil in 2014 to meet with the manufacturer only to find out everything was being.
Wow. You guys are getting that game. Now, there's another side of this, though, and please tell me, and I want you to educate the folks. When folks are selling their hair in India or China, are donating it due to religious purposes, are they getting compensated? And if so, how much can someone make in China versus what someone can make in India?
You know what, to be honest with you, I don't know if people are actually being compensated. I know that there have been other companies over the years have actually gone into China and gone into these villages, say like in Cambodia, into these villages and kind of, set up shop, because I think a lot of them, if they're being compensated, let's say in China, it's pennies on the dollar, like pennies. And actually, I was supposed to go to China a few years back, but a couple of things had happened, and I never got a chance to physically go because I'm one of those people that try to make sense and understand things for myself. So I was planning to make that trip to really try to get to the nitty gritty of that side of the industry. So I think some are actually, like I say, getting pennies on the dollar, and then these factories are buying this hair from them for a little of nothing, and then upselling it and so forth.
Wow. Okay. And I've done a little bit of research, and I've seen people from nothing to $100. You also have folks who say, hey, I've seen it sold for $4,000, and I'd love to know how much hair that was, but I truly doubt some of those reports. But no, this is a great, you're educating people, because people are just so sometimes walking around like zombies. Just they see something, it looks good, they go want to replicate it and buy it. And here you are as a business owner trying to provide those needs, but still have like a social and what right is right, and have that impact in life being a Black woman. With you doing this business, and you have other businesses, and you even have a nonprofit. Talk about your community give backs that you are doing or that you want to do in the future.
Well, yes, I do have a nonprofit called the TressaHolic Foundation, and I basically work with at-risk youth and teen girls in foster care. Just a little backstory. I was in foster care myself, and I come from a family like everybody does hair, and I think the gift of doing hair was just embedded in me. So even when I was in foster care, I did everybody hair. I would do my hair, I would do the girls' hair that was in the home, and then friends at school. So that's kind of like how it all kind of got started. And then when I decided to do the nonprofit, it was just one of those things like, you know what? I want them to see me. I want them to see a person who grew up, we have similarities because we all were in foster care, but our stories was a lot different. And it's funny because when I would do these workshops with these girls, they would kind of look at me like, oh, here comes somebody else trying to teach us something. But then it's like when I tell my story, they be like, you were in foster care? So I was like, yeah. I'm like, I want y'all to see that y'all can make it out of this as well as I did. And a few of the things that we used to do with them was I would do mentorship in my salon. So that was one of the things that we would do. As far as giving them training on, for those who wanted to get to do braiding, we were actually providing them with their braiding license and, like I say, the training and things like that. So, once they become of age and wanted to kind of branch off and do things on their own, they had the ability to do that. Also, we did makeup classes. Of course, we did, self-esteem building workshops and activities. I also have a program where that people who have hair care products that they don't use, unused, because of this whole natural hair movement, I swear you had everybody buying everything under the sun and they wasn't using it. So I started to where that they were able to bring it to me, and then we would distribute those products out to the homes of the group homes that we worked with. And then also too, we have the ability to where that people are able to purchase items out of our store, and the proceeds goes to obviously to the nonprofit, and then the product goes to the girls.
This is awesome. And, I find it sometimes silly that we have to have a license nowadays to braid hair, but that,
I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but actually in Florida, they just stopped.
Thank God. Thank God. To me, that was when I first heard about it. I was living in Texas at the time, and I said, this is some racist stuff. We've been braiding hair since the beginning, but being able to braid hair can change your life. I saw it change my wife's life. coming over from Africa and being able to make an income when you weren't legally allowed to make an income, but you could braid hair. And, you know, that's a beautiful thing. So I think that's a skill that they should really teach that in middle school and high school, in my opinion.
They actually have like the cosmetology programs in most high schools. I mean, I had it in mine. I didn't go to cosmetology school when I was in high school, but the programs are still there. The programs are still there.
Well, see, now we're in Florida, like you in Florida. I can tell you in California, I'm from Oakland, that I never heard of anything like that. I did I think my mother and my aunties would talk about that, but those programs in the 80s were all swiped out, 80s and 90s, you know, even having woodworks and that. I was probably one of the last people at my school that, you know, in that pack that had that. But I'm glad to hear that Florida has that. And so with everything that you have going on, what's like the next steps for you, whether it's with your foundation or your business or creating another business?
Well, to be honest with you, my next step is to get into distribution. That has always been my thing, and which is why I've been doing so much homework on basically what it's going to take to actually get into that arena. From my understanding, there are no Black-owned beauty supply distributions. The majority of them are owned by agents and Koreans. There are a few, maybe in like the Hispanic community, I know of one or two. But as far as, the Koreans got it on lock. So that's actually my end goal. So that way our people or whomever would never have to run into the issues as far as, you know, trying to get the product, whether, you know, it's the hair down to the product itself. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. There are some of these Black-owned hair care companies is with the foolishness as well.
Okay.
So it ain't just the Koreans or the Asians, it's some of them as well. Because for me, it's like I say, because my goal is to get into distribution, I have been submitting applications directly with the manufacturer of some of these companies, not just to the distribution companies, because you have these distribution companies that buy directly from the manufacturing. So not only, you know, getting the beauty supply distribution accounts are easy. That requires a minimum, your resale license, business license, you in the door. But now when it comes down to getting a direct account with a lot of the manufacturing, a lot of them do not want to bring you in. They don't.
And I'm sure they say it's based on volume because they're going to put a volume number on it.
Yes, it is. But like I was trying to explain, give me the information. You don't know who I am or what I got. And that was the point that I tried to make with a few of them. And I get it. You know, I'm in business. I've been in business for over 20 years, so I understand numbers. I understand it makes sense to sell to somebody who can afford 500 pallets versus a person who needs a box. I get it. But give me the numbers. So I'll know what is going to be needed on my end. So when that time is right for me to make my move, I know exactly what my numbers are, what it's going to take, and we're good. So even just trying to get through that process of things have been very, very difficult. Very difficult.
So they don't even want to give you the requirements when you ask.
No.
What can we do to help you with this fight? Do people need to call on your behalf and keep calling and then, you know, doing like...
I just personally think that we need to continue doing what we're doing now. It's saying, hey, it's people out here who want to do business with you besides Walmart and Target and CVS and whoever else. You know, I had one company actually was a Black-owned. On their application process, it literally asks you that they want to see a picture of what the product would look like being displayed. I'm like, how can I show you that when I just signed my lease?
Okay.
Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a trick in, anything in retail, how to keep people off the shelf. And then you have to buy yourself onto the shelf, which, there's very few businesses that are like that. But I want to go, and have people think of what else can they do, because if we keep doing the same thing, we'll get the same results, and we know that's insanity. So is there any numbers, or I know there's organizations like BOBSA, but I don't know if these already organizations are doing the type of work and have the goals and ambition that you do. So if 10 people are listening, or if 1,000 are listening, is there anybody they can write to or tweet out to say, give Tequila the numbers, give her the requirements needed?
Well, I think it would be as simple as get on Facebook and start tagging.
Oh, and who would they tag?
And start tag. They would tag companies like your Camila Roses or your Dark and Lovelies or your olive oil companies. I don't do olive oil, but I got connections.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to think of some companies off the top of my head. It's like, and it's funny, if you were to take a product and you turn the packaging over, it lists who the manufacturing is. And sometimes you have to do a little extensive search because you had a lot of these manufacturing that manufactures a couple of different lines of products. So sometimes that, like I say, if you say, give her numbers, hashtag or at, whatever company that you're trying to point the finger at, then hopefully maybe somebody may say, well, hey, okay, let me see who this person is. Or let me actually go through these emails to see if she's ever even contacted us, or just say, hey, this is what it takes to get in business with.
Well, you guys have gotten the game and what we need to do. We always want to have some type of solution and not just, state the problems, but also clarify in case something was reported wrong or just needed to be adjusted a little bit. Tequila, I thank you for taking the time, and you guys, for who are listening,